Alright, guys, so I kind of had this on my chest recently. I feel like I should, pretty much, get it off right now. So, back up several months ago, I made a video explaining the decision that I was going to stop watching professional wrestling, okay? And I gotta say, that decision that I made, it was probably the greatest decision that I've ever made, probably. At least so far it is. Quitting watching wrestling was probably the greatest thing that I've ever done. Why? Because ever since I stopped watching wrestling, this isn't the only time this has happened though. But I think actually for now it's pretty much a done deal. I'm pretty much permanently done with it. But anyways, the reason why I think so is because my mentality, my mental health in general, it just got a lot better when I stopped watching it. Okay, see, when I was watching wrestling, I've watched it since I was 9 before I quit. Uh, and there was actually a couple periods before this that I quit, and but I've watched it since I was 9, and when I was 20, which was last year, and I'm 20 right now. Uh, I felt like, well, before all that, uh, when I was watching it, I was so passionate about it. I was way too passionate, knowing that I understand that wrestling is choreographed and storylines are scripted, but I was really passionate. Okay, I was very passionate about what was taking place in the ring. Seeing them perform very well in the ring and seeing them perform really well as faces and heels. Uh, I was so passionate. There was things that angered me, like wrong decisions made with creative, or stuff like that, and stupid fans just being stupid. That stuff really it just made me an angrier person in general. You know what I mean? It made me an angrier person in general just to see all that surrounding the wrestling community, watching the wrestling show and seeing the wrestling community, a group of idiots in the creative staff, an idiot chairman, a bunch of idiot fans that hate each other for having different opinions. I felt like ever since I got out of that, you know, I let go of that passion. I let go of the passion that I had for wrestling, and it just changed me. It changed me in a pretty good way, a really good way actually. Uh, and there was actually a period when I was, I think, 15 years old. Yeah, 15 years old. At that time, the wrestling was just getting so unwatchable to me at the time that I just quit. I quit for about over maybe a year and a half. Okay, before I eventually started watching it again. That was during the time that I was first on YouTube, and throughout that time that I wasn't watching wrestling though, uh, before this period that I'm taking right now, things were taking a turn for the better. Okay, hold on a second. Let me put my computer on charge. It's almost dead. All right, there we go. I felt like my life was changing for the good. My mentality was getting better. My mental health was getting better. I've already got mental issues enough. I've got Asperger's syndrome, and I've got learning and developmental delays. My learning and developmental delays are 3 years behind. Okay, I'm 20 years old right now, and but I pretty much have the mindset like I'm 17. You get what I mean? That's my developmental issues that I have. And see, those mental conditions are going to stay with me for life. But they only got worse. They only got a lot worse while I was watching wrestling. And don't get me wrong, throughout the time I was watching wrestling, I loved it, okay? I loved seeing the performances of the wrestlers, whether it be their in-ring ability and their charisma and their personalities. You get what I mean? But see, I was so passionate about it that there was a lot of things that just angered me. Like I said, creative stupidity and fan stupidity and bigotry as well. That it just got worse for me. My mental health got worse, and so I stopped watching wrestling. Then after that, my life got better. Throughout that one time when I was 15 years old, I was still in high school at the time. I was still in high school when I started making YouTube videos. I was 17 years old, but throughout the time that I stopped watching wrestling and I got into other things that I felt were better for me. Uh, like I said, my mental health got better. I kind of had a better outlook. Uh, and actually, throughout that period of time, I met my first girlfriend. That relationship didn't last, but that's not really the point. So many great things were happening to me ever since I stopped watching wrestling. And I think throughout this period, I think I understand that there's some of my subscribers here that subscribe to me that when I was making wrestling content, but there's still some of them are still subscribed to me now because they like the other videos that I do. But one of them told me that wrestling helped them through very tough times. They were going through depression. That's perfectly fine, okay? But for me, that's not the case, okay? Wrestling just blindly. I misunderstood that they were just making me worse. It was not healthy for me to watch wrestling, okay? I got way too passionate about a scripted show, and I felt like ever since I stopped watching wrestling, it's just made me a better person, okay? I feel like it's made me a better person. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a very ranty person on YouTube. There's still other things I rant about, but they're definitely not as bad to complain about as it is the things that are going on in wrestling. I hate the creative staff in it. I hate Vince McMahon. I hate the smarks and the anti-smarks that are in the fan base. They're just a bunch of idiots who hate each other for having a different opinion. Uh, but yeah, ever since I got out of the wrestling game, stuff has changed for the better for me. And if you were like me, if while you were watching wrestling, if you are like me right now and you're still watching wrestling, I think that it'd be better if you see wrestling like I do. If you see wrestling like I did when I was watching it, I feel like during throughout at least this time, maybe you should step away from it. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, like I said, I understand people are so passionate about wrestling. They it helped them through hard times. It helped them through their suicidal thoughts and depression. Do you? Okay. It's great that it's helping you, but it's affecting me. It was affecting me when I was watching it badly. So yeah, stopping watching wrestling was the best decision I ever made.